Y'all, it was quick. We're that live here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman Ben Hamin on YouTube, TikTok, never the Glock, just some nuts in robbing infidels, then I'll kill them block when I step through the fog and I creep through the smog. It's Ben Hamin dog. That's right, infidels, we're back. It's the Monday locker room. The Broasters Coffee Russo limited edition is flowing through me, so I'm ready to go, infidels. Except I didn't get the memo that it was tie day around here. Well, we'll see who tie dies or who tie lives here on the Monday locker room. Yalla. Good morning, infidels. That's right. As you strap in to ride along live here at twitch.tv or on YouTube, or if you're listening afterwards at hackerhamin.podbean.com or hackerhamin on your iTunes, you know where it is. It's the Monday locker room to kick off another week. We got a Sunday without a pay-per-view. I don't know how lucky we'll be by the end of the month with SummerSlam and then followed up by another Sunday show. So enjoy it while you can, because otherwise we're going to be locked in right here. And these guys are business casual and ready to tell you to turn your head and cough this morning. It's Coach RBV and Dr. Gimmicks. They're back in the house. What's up, RVB?
Gentlemen, how are we this morning? A bit of scare on my end with the technology-wise, man. At 8 o'clock, I fired up the system. It wanted to reboot, and it was not moving. So I was panicked. I wasn't going to be here on time. But, hey, it's all good. Nothing slowing me down. It's a great day because we're starting Burger Week here in Cincinnati. So I'm going to be hitting the trail. I got a couple spots today, a couple tomorrow. Probably take Wednesday off. Back at it again Thursday. So all those delicious of the days. Going to have some vlogging going on. A lot coming at you from RBV.
Awesome, man. Well, I mean, enjoy it, but in moderation, and also make sure you're mixing in some SRF to burn those calories off, man. The cold time's coming, and we want to be in the best shape we can, make it through, and stick to the program. So enjoy it. We look forward to your foodie blogging, but make sure you're doing some cardio too, you fat son of a bitch. But yeah, man, listen, that's a hell of a bow tie there, a sexy chocolate tie. Yeah.
Oh, of course, just for you, Ben Hamin. But it's not a competition. I'd say, if we were to line up, let's not say who's the best. I'd say it's all a tie. I'm already starting.
Not
early,
even
guys.
to the monologue yet.
Really. I went with the vintage Jesse Ventura because he's still my hope for governor. Don't mess with me, mess with my governor. So we'll see, dude. I don't know if the body's gonna make a return. But like my Jesse isn't nowhere near as good as Sal. Sal does a spot on one. But this I got at the Brown Elephant on Halstead for $2. It was brand new, sitting on the rack, pretty much, dude. One of the greatest wrestling shirt finds ever. That was 2004, maybe. Wow. So this shirt's got, and when was he governor? I think 4 years before that, maybe even. So this is probably older than some of our listeners. I know it's probably about the same age as Chris 06 Double Deuce. So shout out to Jesse, to the body, man. Awesome. One of the best whoever did it, really, dude, who never really compromised, who they tried to rake over the coals, even afterwards with the when he went at the Navy SEALs and they tried to fuck him over, and that got put out as a lie. And he's in to win on the war on drugs and marijuana legalization. He's a worker, bro. Like he's got it all, except they kind of missed the prime time window. Was about 10, 12 years ago with him. You know what I mean? And now he's in that older, like, all right, put him out to pasture class. But shout out to Jesse. And shout out to anybody who's got to wear a tie at the office today, I guess, as well. I know sometimes you got to dress the part. That's what being in the studio down here is nice. I can just wear my Adidas and wind pants and some T-shirts. But I know a lot of you guys are still going into the office. So if you're on that hustle grind, that road trip, you know what I mean? We appreciate you listening to us. Or the road trip, you're listening to the Tech Meme Podcast, our newest sponsor, man. So we're happy to have Brian McCullough sponsoring us. If you guys like tech news in 25 to 30-minute bites and you've consumed all the wrestling you can handle.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that long. I think it's just 15 to 20 minutes. And that's the nice part, is you can get all your up-to-date tech news, like literally all the best stuff, in a short amount of time. So you can certainly include that in your rotation in between your Hamin Media listens.
Yeah, super easy. I mean, add it right in your feed. Go over to iTunes, do what you got to do. But Tech Meme Ride Home Podcast, you guys, we appreciate it because they're sponsoring Hamin Media, keeping things rolling over here all month long. So least we can do is give back to them, give them a follow, give them that 5-star, give us a 5-star frog splash, and also we got the 5-star star search going on. That's a big thing for us here at Hamin Media. We're getting great submissions. If you love this free content, well, we've split the channel from Hacker Hamin with our main stage shows, so they don't get lost in the loop. But every producer has their awesome pet projects, from the NFO podcast, the Horror Junkyard, the Pro Wrestling Reflection. We're adding the Suck My Balls podcast. We're adding Star Trek. We're adding more and more. But we're giving our listeners, and I know there's a lot of you guys out there who produce shows and whatnot as we're on lockdown. We'd love to hear your opinion, something original. If you want to do wrestling, I'm not going to tell you no. But we're holding this competition all the way through Labor Day. And if you're a pro on something, I don't care what it is. Maybe I know there's a Pickle Barrel, some bastard Pickle Barrel follows us. What if you did a whole podcast on pickling or something like that? Even if it was a mini run along those lines. Then maybe there's a void for that and it could take off. I'm just saying, whatever you're a pro at, why don't we use our creativity and create something and submit to the 5-star star search. Meltzer is barred from it, but at the end, after we get them all, we're gonna put them down to the top 5, and then we're gonna have a competition where our audience gets to vote. I get a vote, the producers get a vote, and then we're gonna see who is the winner. And you never know, there could be a couple in there that you guys really love. And it's a great talent search and way to expand our community and make sure you guys are creating too, because that's very important. I think everyone who jumps aboard here at Hamin Media Group, once they feel like their creative juices are, being used in the best way and fundamentally for them of what they're great at, like Cage Theory podcast, another awesome one. I love that stuff. So here's your opportunity. You have a chance to join a community with a built-in audience already. The hardest thing to do in podcasting is to get from 5 downloads to 40 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000. Like, a lot of our shows get 1,500 out of the gate on multiple platforms, can go up to 10,000 depending on who's on. John McAfee did 100,000. You know what I mean? There's opportunity if you're here to take it. Don't procrastinate. Take the first step today. And whatever you're going to do, even if it's not this, even if it's not the 5-star star search, take that first step today. Go ahead, guys.
Well,
absolutely. I think please go ahead, RBV.
Everybody out there, the opportunities that it can bring. You look at individuals like MSG, Colin from that does the NXT show with you, Beast, to myself, just getting that opportunity with the HMG, what that has meant to us, and where it's seen us go, just not just in our passions for podcasting or pro wrestling, whatever that might be, but professionally out in our real lives. I mean, it's catapulted me to so many successes that I didn't think would be possible just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and I was just going to mention, even my wife is excited about it. But she actually sat down yesterday and recorded a mission for this thing when she found out about the 5-star star search. So people are getting excited about it, and I'm excited. But I did tell her, I was like, I have to be unbiased. So you got to put out quality stuff because the Hamin Media listeners expect nothing less. So I think I intimidated her a little bit, but it sounded like they started to have some fun. So I'm excited to see what they produce, and we'll see. So I'm just excited to see what everyone. I like the idea of doing a pickle podcast though. Ben, I think, but the thing with that though, that's something that what we would call evergreen, in that, as sure. Time goes on, people 10 years from now might go back and listen to something like that so they can figure out, how to do their own pickling at home. That's actually something I would be interested in learning how to do. So.
I think the guy's name is Pickle Barrel Frank. He follows us, man. And he showed pictures where he's like,
Frank's
it's not
Pickle Barrel ass.
Frank's Pickle Barrel ass. That's what it is. Frank's Pickle Barrel ass. He showed pictures. He was getting down making them fucking pickles, man. So, there's something there. Whatever. My point is, whatever your niche is, no matter how crazy it might seem, that's bullshit. You could become the master of that overnight, because if there's nobody else doing it, that means there's a need for it, and why not let it be you? and why not be start a conversation and whatnot. That's how really that home brewing and these micro brews really took off again. It was a small community like that, and you know what I mean. I enjoyed making my own wine and beer. I think you did too, Beast. You've done a little of that, but that's just how it can go, man. And then people are making their own artisan stuff. Leads to a business, leads to you quitting your job, and now you're empowered yourself. You know, like that's all possible and probable with the momentum of joining the Hamin Media Group. We're like putting that turbocharger on an already awesome engine, you know, and now we just kick your stuff up to the next level, and we're off to the races with it, man. I love it. One thing we did having our Friday meeting, Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Notes coming out here, was to really ask our listeners, and you guys have done a great job already, to follow Hamin Media Group on YouTube. We went over 100 last week. We're adding steadily, but we can start getting some change back if we can get it over 1,000 here. Not that I want to plague you with commercials, but we're trying to grow the brand. So, you know, since we've done this network affiliate diversification, how do you like that instead of just saying split? Like, what an asshole boardroom turn that was. But like, since we've done this to let everybody shine, we need to get those numbers up. And, my YouTube channel at Ben Hamin's got 11,500, but that's because of an old Josie and Melody Bra and Panties match, and tons of people joined in India. We're trying to grow this organically, and we appreciate in a short time to get us triple digits, but we really got to get to quadruple. So anything you can do, if you haven't subscribed over there yet, that's really going to help us, liking and sharing stuff, obviously. Jargo is in the chat right now. This is our other big thing, and Jargo has had a very tough week, to say the least. Jargo, I need you to DM me your PayPal as well, please, as immediately as you can. But he's in the car now on Bluetooth. His sister's house tragically was destroyed in a horrific fire. Everyone got out safe, even the pets, but everything is lost. Everything is lost. And then he was out without power because of the tornadoes. I think they might be getting it back today or tomorrow. So, I mean, just absolutely, when you have a shit week, you got to spend $600 on your car and you're cunting off about that. Take a second, take a breath, and think about this guy's family, who just is really starting at a square one. We don't want to ever have to imagine. And just because he's not hosting the Monday Locker Room doesn't mean that he didn't pioneer this show with Rick Vickery, that they kicked off your week for 2.5 years, Rick? 3?
Yep.
Yeah,
right around 3.
With great inside New Japan news, Ring of Honor news, the alternative news that he's doing on his show, the Destito podcast, and maybe that's on hold right now with all this going on, and no one would blame him for a second. But we do have a GoFundMe. It's in the Hamin Media Group.
It's actually we've got it across all social media. We've got it on the business page. We've got it in the discussion group. Yeah. We've got it on Twitter, and I guess just on behalf of Jargo here, I know he's so appreciative that they were able to reach the goal. But as you said, Ben, I mean,
no, there is no goal.
Right. I mean, that is
Hans sent me $20 to send. I'm going to match that. I got another 10 from somebody else. So let's, like, you guys, you can go and buy the olive oils. You can do all that, but we're talking about a soldier who's wounded right now in our army, and it's not by his own fault by any means or anything they did. Like, double natural disaster. Just what the fuck, man? Like, if there's anything we can do to help Jargo, let's get on board. Let's soldier up. I don't care if it's $1, whatever you can do, y'all. I mean, that's what we got to do right now. That's what you're gonna do right now. So it is across all our Hamin media stuff. It's just needed and necessary. Instead of going buying that fucking $6 Starbucks this afternoon and your fucking cookie, like, forego something because a brother needs us right now.
Certainly so. And I'll say, in the short time that I've known Jargo, he's someone that has never hesitated to give up his time and energy for free, just to be able to put up Hamin media content, or to appear on a show, or to produce something. And so certainly my heart goes out to him right now. And I'm as well planning on donating today, but certainly if you have anything that you're able to, certainly please try to do what you can, and hopefully in time Jargo will be able to bounce back and be back on the airwaves, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Appreciate that, Andres, and kicking in 25 right there. I'll definitely include that on there as well. If somebody can post that GoFundMe link in the chat here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, or on YouTube, they're asking for it, so appreciate that. That's probably gonna be the quickest way to get cash directly to him. And if not, Jargo, please send me that PayPal information in DM on Messenger, but if you can. Nate Clinton, good morning. Well, we've done the plugs and hugs, man. That's for sure. A lot going on, and we're so excited and fortunate to be able to build the community and whatnot. I got to shout out Cage Theory Podcast, gave me a good tip. I'm kind of locked in now though, because I hit some promotional thing, and I got a bet. I think like $250 on Bovada, so I put in $100, get $50. I lost on the Daniel Cormier main event. I thought DC, they were going to let him go over as a legend, but it was the classic old lion, young lion, pass the torch. In UFC, I should have known better. But I bet on a fight on the undercard, because I was listening to them and got a hot tip on what I thought was a good bet, and doubled up my money from 100 to about 210. But Bovada's holding it now, so I'm just going to let it sit there, and then I'm going to, let's listen to Cage Theory closely. I want to see if I can get that up to $1,000, man. I want to really let it ride and see how much we can do with Cage Theory and Javid, and listen to those guys. I get my tips and info, and then I go and search the YouTube videos of each fighter. I'm like, that motherfucker looks like he'd tear that other motherfucker a new asshole. And that's how I'm doing. I want to see how much I can grow that to, if I can get that up to 1,000, or I'll get cocky and get my clock cleaned on some fucking fight in the fall or some shit like that. That's how it usually goes. But yeah, I'll pass the mic. Go ahead, Ted.
Well, I wanted to take a moment to recognize in the chat room, it looks like Joe Athers has joined us, and there he is. And he is one of the hardest working homework contributors on the Next Level Wrestling Review. On the last episode that we did, the homework was to finish booking the angle between Breezango and Legado del Fantasma, and he laid out a full 4-week angle, week to week, leading up to the Takeover pay-per-view. So it was really impressive, and I would encourage, I'd encourage everyone to check it out anyway, but definitely if you feel obliged, or not if you feel obliged, I recommend doing it. Go check out the Next Level Wrestling Review and see Athers' ideas, as well as we had Hans contribute as well, and everyone else can also chime in. This week's homework assignment, for those that do want to participate, is we have the NXT North American ladder match coming up, and so this homework assignment's simple. You can make it as short or long as you want it to. It was simply to finish booking out the last 2 contestants or competitors in the match, who goes over in the match, and then who's the first one contender for the North American Championship. So just it's fun to talk through some of the ideas, to get down, talking business as far as writing to whether or not it's good, makes good business sense, and we just kind of break it down, and it's been a lot of fun over at the Next Level Wrestling Review. So I encourage everyone to check that out.
Where can they send that homework, Beast?
I always forget to say that. Next Level Wrestling Review at gmail.com. We got our own email.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. I listened to Athers lay that out, and he did a great job. He's such an awesome participator here, but fuck that guy, really. Like, no, big stooge off right now, because they've been participators and followers so heavily, and they have their own show, and he's got the production chops to do it. And James MacGyver, who has been a participator since WrestleZone days, since I broke kayfabe and started doing this, laying the foundation for it. They are going to be taking over the SmackDown attack. This asshole sending me run sheets and stuff. Like, is this good? I'm like, what the fuck is a run sheet, bro? We just go. And but he's excited. They're ready. And I think that ever-growing UK contingent over there. I loved UC Impact. Like, they were so hungry to be recognized and that's why they love NXT UK. So how this show kind of used to be geared a bit more towards the New Japan ROH audience, you're still going to get the SmackDown Attack review with those sexy British voices. Now that's the thing there. And then you're also going to get some UK style news, which I think is an awesome, interesting piece, because I'd slept on the UK a lot of my career until I actually saw, my intro to the UK, not William Regal, but Colt Cabana stealing a lot of spots from him and using a lot of that old school stuff there. And I started researching more and more. And then obviously, where we are now, it's pretty awesome. So congratulations to those guys. And I'll tell you, they are in their spot because of their heavy participation. But
I realize you're also a delusional motherfucker.
What the fuck?
And a fat motherfucker.
Yeah.
So now let me tell you 3 facts about you. You're fat, you're never going to lose weight, and you'll never be in shape. You may lose some weight, and then you'll be skinny fat, and you still look like a fat piece of shit and a fat mark.
Well, I guess we needed that. I thought I was over. I thought I was getting over today, but I'm not getting over, apparently.
There's only 3 things certain in life.
Jesus Christ.
You being a culture vulture,
yeah.
You eating donuts, and you never being in shape. Yalla, you pussy. Yalla, you prick. Yalla, you fat fuck. Yalla, you hairy bitch. Yalla, you culture vulture. Fuck you.
Well, I guess that's it then. Fucking MacGyver and Adlers are fired. Fuck that guy.
Well, there you have it.
I quit, dude. I fuck that. After that, I'm not doing nothing the rest of the show.
Well, this has been your Monday locker room.
But Beast, make me happy again, man. We've gotten through it, and it's just about that time for your Monday morning monologue. Yeah.
All right. I will do my best to make you whole again, Ben Hamin. This is your Monday morning monologue. Let's get right into it. WWE has revealed they are already have new merchandise for the Raw Underground segments with new t-shirts priced at $27.99 each, because there is nothing more underground than selling t-shirts on your corporate website. Chris Jericho and his band Bozzy have gone back out on tour. They have discussed doing them during the COVID-19 pandemic during his last Saturday Night Special, where Jericho defended the show, saying that some of them took place outside, which I think was smart for Jericho to break the walls down. In an interview with a low-hanging fruit, got to grab it sometimes. In an interview with Gorilla Position, Seth Rollins defended his eye for an eye match against Rey Mysterio, saying that if it happened during the WWE Attitude Era, nobody would have scoffed at it, because we all remember how loved and universally praised the Kennel from Hell match was, or Mae Young giving birth to a hand, or Choppy Val Venus's pee-pee. I digress. NXT superstar Shotzi Blackheart revealed on her Twitter last week that her car was stolen from outside her apartment in Orlando, Florida. The car had her ring gear stored inside, including her boots, entrance jacket, and helmet. Fortunately, since that time, her car and gear have been recovered. And honestly, if this is all part of an angle leading to a match between Shotzi Blackheart and the Repo Man, I'm all for it. During an interview back in May, Mike Bennett said that Adam Pearce was in charge of 205 Live, claiming that it was his baby. Reports say that Pearce is indeed charge of creative for the show, along with Dewey Foley, which means Dewey Foley being in charge of 205 Live and not Raw means Dewey Foley did not make the call to Kane Dominic. Chris Jericho talked about how news of Eric Bischoff appearing on AEW Dynamite leaked on Reddit prior to the show on his latest Saturday Night Special. Jericho noted that AEW knows exactly who it was that leaked the news, adding that it was a NXT reject and that the person will never be back in AEW. We don't know who the perpetrator was, but whoever it was, you just made the list. On the latest edition of Grilling JR, Jim Ross discussed Bryan Adams being arrested on drug and illegal gun charges while working at a Gold's Gym in Hawaii back in 1995, which of course led to his WWE run at the time becoming crushed.
No.
And last but not least, AEW's Alex Reynolds has formally welcomed Chili's to the Dark Order on Twitter. Because as we all know, there is nothing more sinister and evil than baby back ribs with barbecue sauce. By God, this has been your Monday morning monologue.
Yeah, the my man beast, Dr. Ted, the chocolate tie coming through this morning. Hopefully you're on that chocolate tie this morning as well, you guys. Appreciate that. That did bring me up after I got fucking slammed there by that dude. He's always got to point out, even if I work hard, you're still going to have big old bitch tits, and then he's not wrong. So it's just something I got to live with. Fuck. Oh, man. Well, we're having a good time here. I'm glad to be back in the locker room with the boys after kind of a good weekend. The wife came home from Louisville yesterday. B, she got home all right, man. So everything was good that way, and we're back set up doing things real big. RBV, man, what's going down, dude?
Well, I guess we'll jump right into it, right? Not a whole lot of news going around, but we do have some major headlines. Unfortunately, for the second week in a row, we've got to open up things with the news of a passing, and this one really a little more tragic than last week, as we remembered the great Kamala. But yeah, former Ring of Honor champion Xavier, who was an upstart up in your neck of the woods. There been a New York talent. 43 years old, has suddenly passed away. We had that news break yesterday. I remember, some of his early work there with Ring of Honor. It was one of the promotions that, especially as with WCW kind of folding, that really grabbed my attention. And it's, he had some tremendous success there. It wasn't very long, but he had a couple years with them. And again, 43 and losing his life here. Did you gentlemen have any kind of run-ins with him, or maybe know anyone with him?
I worked with him in my career, and I was, the handshake and whatnot. I'll tell you, I'm thankful for guys like that on shows, because they do what I can't do, and they take the big dangerous bumps, man. And I know a lot of people. This is a lot like the dude from CZW who passed, and a lot of dudes who he helped make, who are, and that's what we do in this guy. We get matches and help get guys over what the promoter wants to do. And he might not have gotten the greatest shine. He did have great runs, and he was that workhorse of a dude that a promoter wants on the show to give you ooh and ah. It might be against somebody else they're trying to get over, but that guy can give it to you and safely, and that's what you want. It's Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn most of the time to me, got like that style, and I sure shit ain't doing it. So he did it, to the best of it. It struck home with me. Not trying to stooge or get it over, but less than a week away, hitting 43, and when I saw 1977 to 2020. That's just like, whew, okay. That's as I pack on years too, man. Same thing could be said. But after losing two of my best friends, very young, my life changed forever. And I was just like, well, every day after that is whatever, you know what I mean? I'm just going to pack it as much as I can. And I have since that time in the last 8 years for sure. I can't say I look back and wasted a day. And that's what I kind of promised myself. So if you've lost somebody, like that you're close to like that, or, you're going out to the ring and you lost somebody, or even if not, say, I'm going to throw in a little bit of something extra for this guy. Go watch his matches and take a little something just to pay homage, man, in the next year or two. I think that's a cool ass thing to do to somebody. I hope somebody does that. All the motherfuckers who I kick the shit out of, get a camel clutch in or a fish hook on somebody when my ass bites the dust. And don't wait more than fucking 15 minutes to start making tasteless memes about me, you motherfuckers. Don't feel bad about that shit at all. Not like I'm trying to check out here, but brothers in the fucking biz know, man. As soon as the fucking news hits, y'all better be fucking come up with some clever shit. So, but shout out to this good-looking, athletic baby face and all the brothers and sisters in the locker room who knew and loved him, man, and his family as well. Yalla.
Anytime anyone, but especially someone in wrestling, passes away so young, it's always a tragedy. And I certainly would why does Dr. Ted look like he's in silent film that's been redone in Technicolor? I have no idea. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'll take it. I digress. And not to get on too much on a somber note, but I'd say one thing that really has echoed with me that you told me, Ben, is with losing people close to you so young, that it really makes you, it makes you appreciate the time that we do have each and every day, but it also makes you take the extra time to let others know how much you really appreciate them. So I'd say, if there's any takeaway from today, besides obviously paying respect and, taking some time to, watch a Xavier match, also take some time to let the people around you who really have been, either someone that's backed you all through your life, or just someone you respect, or someone that you've just enjoyed their work, reach out and let them know, because you have no idea how much that might mean to that person. And unfortunately, we don't always know when our time is going to be up, and we don't know how much time we really have to let each other know how much they mean to you. So that would be my challenge for you today. If there's someone in your life that you really respect or love or get.
Hold up, Beast. Choked out there, but I'm going to tell you what he said. He said if there's somebody you respect or love, reach out to them today, because you don't know. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, and they might be needing that reach out today. Somebody who has a shout out to the chat. I mean, obviously it's ROH wrestler Xavier, but Johnny Bedoya was his shoot name, man. So respect to the homie, man, and tough shit, man, for sure. Always. I don't want to get into like how water wise and shit like that. I always think that's not great.
Oh, absolutely. Well said, gentlemen. Last week, a very hot take. We were discussing entitlement from fans, and if they think that they are owed a little too much from the business itself. Rather, what could have been a very scary situation, news breaking over the weekend involving Sonya Deville, where a fan was caught attempting in a kidnapping. We have a gentleman, Philip A. Thomas II from South Carolina, made his way down to the Florida area where Deville lives, in the Lutz area, I believe. But anyway, as he was entering the house with plans of kidnapping her, apparently here, it set off an alarm. It notified the authorities. They were quick to respond here, which would also alerted Deville and her housemate there. So they were able to call 911. The authorities were quick on the response, and they were able to apprehend this individual. But he had a knife with him, zip ties, and mace.
Jesus Christ.
So as we have that going on there, I tell you what, I did a little research into this. There's a few different angles we can go into the story here. We'll kind of layer it. Doing a little research, this guy absolutely, he had more than a few screws loose. I go in and look at his social media, just on his Twitter, the last 50 tweets that he had put out there, 47 of them had something to do with Deville herself. And one of the last ones that he had put out on social media, it actually said, it was addressed to at Sonya Deville, WWE. Please, Daria, could you at least reject me or give me a chance if you're ever single again? Or should I do the world a favor and just end my life, because I really do have feelings for you? And this is a troubled individual. Apparently, this is something maybe he'd been planning for quite some time. Said he made the trip from South Carolina. Deville herself has issued a statement, just really, thanking everyone for their love and their concern. It was a very frightening experience, and they are very thankful that the authorities were so responsive on hand, as this thing could have just completely spiraled out of control. Beast, your overall thoughts on this situation?
I'm glad that at the very least it didn't turn out, the way it could have. Granted, with going through with his plan. I hope he gets the help that he needs. He obviously has some severe mental issues. Not that it excuses the behavior; it certainly does not. But clearly it's a situation where he was not mentally stable and was going to do something that very well could have endangered or even worse Sonya Deville, and so at very least, the situation was able to come to a conclusion without any, physical altercation or anything of that matter. But it's a scary thing. People are crazy, and I'm one part of me feels like I'm not necessarily surprised because people are crazy, but at the same time, just the nature of it, it really is truly shocking. I can't imagine. I feel especially bad for Sonya too, going forward from here. I feel like after a situation like that, I mean, how much does that continue to haunt you and continue to have to look over your shoulder all the time for potential stalkers? And that's the kind of heartbreaking part of it that probably, down the line, people are going to, forget about the story, but she's going to continue living her life, having to look over her shoulder all the time. And it's really kind of a sad situation when you think about it.
Ben?
Yeah, it's fucked up as can be. I mean, because if this guy's a psycho fan, then he knows that she's a lesbian, and then chances of getting that for her to fall in love with you are slim to none. So that means you got to take something if you're trying to get something. And, anytime you're fucking with knives, it's easy to sound like a hero, like, oh, to fucking kill them. Like, anytime you're fucking with knives and mace, be like, that's bad intentions, right? So, yeah, this guy was out stalking too, like laying in wait for hours and shit. But like, in the fantasy, Quentin Tarantino world, in your dreams of it, like if he didn't come through with it and try to do something, she could have fucking tuned this little nerd up in probably a heartbeat, bro, and had him choked out if it was really going down like that. So this is as fucking weird as it gets. These unstable fucking marks completely just from the dude who went to the performance center with the rifle and shit, right? Like that fucking dumb bastard. So it's phony bullshit. And if you're buying into this or you're obsessive, obviously, end of the day for me with motherfuckers like this, like I know Beast, like you got to do the doctor thing, fucking hook his nuts up to a car battery and fucking turn the hose on him. Like that's what I'd say at this point. Fucking fuck that guy. You're a little fucking weirdo who's never going to be right. They let him out. He's only going to fucking get weirder and weirder after this kind of shit. This type of behavior does not correct itself without.
That is true. You are correct. And by getting help, I mean, they need to put him somewhere where he is away from society and can be medicated and live the rest of his days somewhere where he can't hurt people. I don't think someone like this is going to be rehabbed and be able to go back into society. I just don't foresee that. So yeah, to be clear, I'm not saying, he needs help and then let him out. No, he needs to be put away in somewhere in a facility. And some people just, you have to, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, whatever the fuck, man. I say use him for fucking COVID vaccine testing and fuck that guy. Like, lock him up, fucking waste the 35 cents on a fucking round and put him down. He's no good to nobody, and fucking, that's what it takes. Is trauma. Sounds like some Gitmo shit that I had to go through back in 2003 or whatever, but like, I'm a better man for it now. And, fucking the red's positive, the black's negative, fucking hook them up and away go. I don't really give a fuck about any psycho who's going to fucking do that shit. Trauma-based mind control. Let's do some experiments. See if we can fucking shock the shit out of him. Get Elon in here, drill a fucking hole in his head, and fucking put an implant in there that makes him think about fucking daisies and fucking panda bears all day long, and fucking throw him to the fucking wolves if you want to in the goddamn Brooklyn Zoo. I don't give a shit, bro.
Now, could this be maybe a bigger picture eye opener for not just WWE, but any company that could have their employees that are out there in a spot like this put into a situation similar to it? We regularly have fun talking about how they need to manage just the social media aspect from, how the talents present themselves. I mean, should they be watching for red flags for fans like this? As I mentioned, easily, you see who retweets anything that you're tagged in there. There's got to be something. As I said, 47 out of the last 50 involved her. You're pushing a border here of a psychotic individual. Should there be somebody responsible for kind of keeping an eye on this kind of stuff?
Yeah, maybe. If there's red flags going off, you should be able to run it up the chain, but they're so into their own social media and whatnot that, You know, it's what do you take seriously from if you've wrestled these indie shows, you see that 70% of the fans you deal with are from institutions and fucking, you know what I mean, short bus motherfuckers. And like that's just how it is. You got to be the larger than life hero or villain that makes their life where they'll never have, you know, a real 9 to 5. The dads who are working their asses out to bring their kids to the show, that's a small percentage compared to the, you know, and I'm not trying to put anybody with physical or mental disability down, but like, believe me, I know I've been all over this country, and it's the same coast to coast like butter and toast. So we appreciate them. We're happy to give them that escapism because their lives might be fucked up otherwise, even more. And then who knows what they might do if they didn't have that. You know what I mean? But you're not dealing with the fucking highest level Mensa thinkers, you know, when you deal with this. So are you going to go and knock on every fucking Mark's door who just bought an AEW title? Well, maybe you should. You might do a little To Catch a Predator and find some fucking motherfuckers you're looking for. But yeah, dude, what are we talking about? We're talking about Nazi Stasi policing, which is going on right now in 100 other ways as deals with COVID. They're not like, you know, who's watching fucking NXT is low on their list.
Yeah. And you know, there's crazy people are going to be crazy, whether or not they're going towards someone in wrestling or not. This situation actually brought back a memory of mine of a good friend of mine from high school. His little sister just happened to be a clerk at a local shop, and someone just took a liking to her and found her address, started writing her letters, and said, on the first snow of the year, I'm going to take you away to my cabin. We're going to live our lives together and have kids. And it was kind of crazy. And then all of a sudden, the first snow of the year happened, and he showed up in their street and started building a fire in the yard, and they ended up calling the police and getting a hold of him. And he had a billy club that was hidden in his jacket, and who knows, you know, what he would have done. I mean, obviously it seemed like the plan was he was going to knock her out and take her. And it's like, it's just one of those things though. But to your point, Rick, absolutely, you have to look at the signs. And I don't know what those tweets involved, whether it was just, you know, him talking about her or talking about how he was going to, you know, find her. But certainly if, you know, you start seeing those signs of stalking, whether it's, you know, writing strange letters or saying that I'm going to show up at your house, those are some that have to be taken extremely seriously.
I mean, the stalking stuff is and cyberbullying is definitely in the forefront of this, but let's talk about the precursor to this, this is a perfect case to fucking do the scariest thing ever, whether it's Minority Report or George Orwell, 1984, you're talking about thought crime. Now, this guy's doing it in a public forum, but so that it's threats. It's a little more than thought crime because it's out there, right?
Right.
But what you're seeing is already plugged in. We have these AIs that are self-learning that could analyze all this. And like, if we talk about the Shadowgate Shadowgate software that we talked about on the Horseman, whatever, it's right in this where you could, in seconds, pull every Sonya Deville tweet. It's doing this in real time, sends a fucking message to law enforcement. This guy's profiled as a stalker. He works here, and here. Let's put a detective on him, see what he does, see what his activities are. Like, all this is done in a matter of seconds, profile-wise. They have all this tech already. Like, how long until this is just implemented as a case study where this could have been prevented? We could have got to this guy if you would have allowed us to use, awareness net. Be aware of all cyber threats against you, because you sleep better because this guy is off the streets. And I see a lot of people too, especially on World Star. I saw some Arab guys do it, and I saw a girl doing it by herself. Maybe she had somebody with her, but she was the only one on camera. They're luring sexual predators into like hotels, like parking lots and shit like that. Whether it's like the weirdo dudes from the basement, a coach was one of them. Just your biker looking dude, like all kinds of dudes who want to hook up with a 15-year-old girl. They're catfishing them into these situations. Then when they show up there, they're like, I'm not the police, bro, but you're on here. And like, if you do any of this shit again, we're keeping an eye out. Like, I don't want to ruin your life, but you can't be doing this. One of those guys is going to pull out a fucking pistol and kill a bitch like that because she thinks she's fucking way over, and he thinks his life's over and his wife's going to leave him and it's cheaper. Like, these internet people like that are taking their. I salute them for what they're doing. Like, you know what I mean? That's to catch a predator shit, but you better have 2 dudes with you with pistols and fucking ready to rock and roll and some shit like that. Not just your little safety of your cell phone. That's a fucking ignorant bubble. I like what they're doing, though. Don't get me wrong. But because of that kind of shit, dude, that is the perfect reason to implement thought crime, where they outline your patterns of behavior beforehand, come to get you, and fucking what you think goes against the system, you're fucked. Now, it might start as some catch a predator shit, but it'll end up as, how dare you even think against the government, and you will fucking come get you.
You're right. It is a very slippery slope, and that is scary, to think that, it's one thing to be able to catch people that clearly have sexual perversions, but then how far does that go? And you're right. Someone that said, hey, we saw on your tweet that, you weren't a fan of the president, and then they start, like we saw. You sent me a clip, I think, the other day, Ben, about that happened in a somewhere where they literally pulled the guy over and was questioning what he was posting on social media because the police didn't like it. It's like,
well, that we're going to talk about that on Horseman. That's in Australia right now. It legit is Stasi thought police. The dude was posting on Facebook, we should hang these motherfuckers. And I say hanging's easy. That's getting off light for some of them. Hell, just a quick old snap in the neck. They've inflicted way more punishment. You want to do eye for an eye, but because he was posting that in whatever forums, these cops show up and he's saying, you don't have any right to that. And they're like, well, can we find a solution? You taking that? No, I can't. The solution would be me curbing my free speech to make sure that the people, obviously he's shaking up those in power who should probably be fucking run out of town on a rail, you know what I mean, or tacked to a cross. They love Jesus so much. Well, here, let me show you what it feels like, because they've been robbing from the poor and lining their own pockets for how long, and now controlling speech against them now that they're out and exposed. And this guy had every right to tell these motherfuckers to fuck off, but it's just the fact that there's a police force knocking on people's doors saying, you posted this, and you need to take it down. Well, no, I don't. You can get me banned from a platform maybe, but if they don't do it, it's free speech. I don't have to do shit, you say, as they reform the laws around you in an Orwellian nightmare, man. This is where we're at now, and it because of complacency for decades, because we didn't hold their feet to the fire for 9/11 and fucking World Trade Center 7, and because of for-profit wars and Rumsfeld and Cheney lining their pockets, and because we fucking don't question narratives of Sandy Hook and Las Vegas shooting, because none of that, because your police force got militarized overnight, you know what I mean? It's all by design, but they just keep running through the fucking maze, man, wondering why they're getting snapped every fucking thing. Well, let me run this way. Well, that's all by design too. So,
yep. And they're laughing all the way to the bank as the rich continue to get richer, and they're laughing as everyone is either tweeting all lives matter or Black Lives Matter, and because that's what they want everyone to focus on and not on the real shit. And yeah, it's awful.
Absolutely. I mean, all that shit goes. I know we started with this stalker and shit and whatnot, but this is the slippery slope that the kind of excuses they want and need to take this tech that's already being used on us. They're going to use it in the election and all that, but to really mainstream it and really sell it to, as a package that way. It's coming. You got about 18 months left on that. Someone
save this clip. You heard it here first.
Jericho says, shame on you, WWE, when it comes to a recent release. And of course, he was talking about referee Mike Chioda, who incidentally appeared this past week on AEW Dynamite. Jericho says, I mean, come on, seriously. 35 years the dude has been at your company, and you're going to fire him. Besides the fact that the dude is a great guy and such a talented performer who can run the whole backstage, but after 35 years, what's he supposed to do, Chris asks? Go get a job at a 7-Eleven? They did it to Mark Eaton, famous ringside guy, that they still haven't been able to replace him yet. When I was looking for my cues, Mark was always the guy. Obviously, Chioda there with 35 years, he did so much, wore so many hats for the company here. I guess maybe the bigger question is, this is just the recent incident of a growing trend with Jericho is just taking these maybe unnecessary shots at WWE? Is there some kind of understanding that's method to his madness, or should he just kind of let it go and just worry about what's happening with AEW and pushing that promotion forward? Beast?
I mean, I personally, and this is where everyone has their own, flavor as far as how they react to things. Me personally, I've always been big on concentrate on doing what you're doing and make it the best you can. That being said, I think there is sometimes value in kind of playing up the other side of things, but that's just my MO. So I don't necessarily fault Jericho for doing it. I personally wouldn't. I would just say, to concentrate on AEW would be the thing to do, and really concentrate on making that great and not putting a spotlight on a different wrestling company that is essentially your competition. But to his point, I don't necessarily disagree. Now, if WWE, made these cuts and they were barely getting by, that would be one thing. But when they're posting that they're making profits and they're making revenue and doing essentially from a financial standpoint actually pretty well, all things considered, during the pandemic because of all the cuts, I don't necessarily disagree with them here. I think, considering that they literally were able to save or make millions during this time, and hundreds of millions even, I believe. And yet they couldn't hold on to someone that clearly had a lot of tenure in the company and has been very loyal and not just loyal, but a good worker, a good employee, someone that can be trusted to help maintain a segment or a match in the ring. And, I think, he's not necessarily in the wrong here bringing it up. I just personally don't think it was necessarily something that he needed to. It goes back to, I always say, three things: does this need to be said? Does this need to be said right now? And does this need to be said by me? I don't think necessarily, Jericho needed to be the one to stand up and say, hey, what about Mike Chioda? Especially since AEW is giving him that opportunity. But again, that's just my MO.
Yeah, I don't know. I agree with Beast. Keep your eye on the prize, but at the same time, I would have Beast doing that part while I directed the Cold War. If you want to go to war and controversy creates cash and shit equals ratings, this is opportunity to shit on them. We're saying they're even cutting their diehards, and these are the guys that we came up with and made the best moments together. And Chioda, he obviously cleared it with Chioda, the shots fired to be able to do that. So it's not coming from him. He did it for Lance Storm too, right? Like recently. And I think it's not a bad war strategy, to be honest with you, to shine light on them of being fucking stupid and almost taking scab workers to replace those dudes and fill in the blanks, But then off goes when here's the fucking Horowitz. You're going to bring in your buddies from WWE. They're not coming cheap. And what else did we see this week? Jimmy Havoc, Bea Priestley, and somebody else get it, right?
Yeah. We start to see a few cuts there. And I think what's kind of interesting, there's a little bit of a spinoff into this story that when Chioda came in, he isn't signed to a deal yet. It's per appearance, because there was some concern when Cody and Jericho approached Tony Khan about this.
Of course. Dude, let's stop.
We're in the middle of a pandemic.
AEW this week. Did you watch AEW?
Yeah.
What matches did Cody work, or did Chioda work?
Oh, those marquee matches right there. I mean,
yeah, the Cody Bell match, and versus Scorpio Sky, and the main event. Like, here's the real. Cody and Jericho, WWE properties, 100%, right? Like, even if there's WCW, ECW, like, made WWE to the fucking max. Made guys. And they are tired of having Aubrey and the other dude miss calls and, like, their matches be amateur. They're boys with them for generations. He's known Cody since Cody was born, probably, dude. Chioda has. So, like, all this little shit, like, all the friendship stuff is going to keep getting pushed out the door, dude. The fact that you even said Cody and Jericho had to go to Con to politics, like, are you going to have a real Fed, or are you going to have high schoolers playing wrestling? Because that's what you got now. Now the Wolves have come, and they will feast. Cardona's not going to be signed. He's going to be on X amount to see if he can get over. But it doesn't matter, because that money's already going to be plucked and reallocated, and that means go look at Dark. Give me a top 7 list who you can fucking cut There's your homework. Who are your next 8 people who are getting cut from AEW to make way for WWE? Send it to lightthefuse at gmail.com, our Light the Fuse mailbag there, because it's going to happen, dude. Whether it's Ryback, Rusev, what other names are rumored to show up? Goldberg, I heard. Like, gone. That's 4 workers right there. Any of those people I named, 4 of the people who are on Dark right now are gone. Your probably your Dark Order thing will be done completely, because there's 6 guys right there. Like, I like Player Uno and Player Dos. I love Super Smash Brothers, my 2 CW dudes, but fucking they can just split Brody off and that whole crew could be gone overnight, bro, to make way for Goldberg.
Not to switch the subject back to it, but I did want to go back to the Jericho Kyoto thing, because I've actually been pondering it, and actually the more I think about it, the more I actually think it actually for Jericho, because of him being, let's face it, people that follow Jericho on social media probably also follow WWE. So it's not like he's influencing people to switch over. And the more I think about it, the more I actually think it is kind of an ingenious move, because let's face it, right now we're at a time in the world where a lot of people are frustrated. A lot of people are very emotionally upset at losing their jobs and realizing that perhaps some of the companies and corporations that they thought they trusted, they really can't trust anymore. And so I think to shine light on the fact that the WWE as a corporation is treating some of these employees, perhaps how some of these viewers at home are also being treated by their companies, and people can relate to that raw, visceral emotion of being screwed over by their companies and being laid off during this time, that I think people can see that as a value proposition as, hey, do I want to give my brand loyalty to a company that is treating their employees the same way my company treated me, and not in a good way? I want to take my viewership towards a different company that treats their employees in a better way. So in a sense, the more I think about it, that actually I think is a pretty smart move by Jericho.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who can kind of blur the line, and shoot as like no one's going to come back at him based on his legacy.
Right.
You can't discredit him. Like, that's the thing. So he can get at the inside digs and no one can fuck with him. But 240 WWE people furloughed on crew and office. And forgive me, WWE isn't making money and doing well. I don't give a shit what they said on that Q2 thing, because those 240 people are furloughed. That's what frees up the cash from the day-to-day operations. That's all lip service for the Q2 phone call, so their stock price doesn't fucking go completely to shit, and they can rejuke the numbers, and which Khan must like because he's an analytics guy, in a way that makes them look like they made the right decisions to free up cash. But as their ratings decrease and decline completely when the deal comes up to get redone with Fox for $1 billion and USA for who knows how much, like, you're fucked, because you've devalued your property so much of that 40 million that you claimed was a bonus doesn't mean shit when you lose 400 million on the fucking next deal. Really, you lost 360 million because of that quarter, and you know that, man, but you don't fucking want to put that over because of your declining value. You're weighing one against the other in a short term versus the real long-term damage, and kayfabing the long-term damage of it all and fucking just putting it over. You know what I mean? It's like, we got lifeboats, but the Titanic's sinking and no one's addressing it. We got lifeboats, everybody. Awesome. Good for you.
What's really interesting is some of the points that you're both making there. And Beast, one of the, a follow-up question here for you. I mean, sure, it might be working in the now for Jericho, but how long before AEW has to, they're not bringing in any money as well. And, they're struggling as well. They're right here, the same struggles. They're not running anything live. They're not getting their gate before. And as Ben's talking about, these WWE employees are going to want to come on board. How long before this backfires on AEW and that loyal fan base from the beginning turns on them, because they'll have to eventually cut ties with maybe some of maybe lesser thought of talents that Ben had laid out there.
And that certainly may come to be the case. And that's where, to Ben's point, that's where unfortunately you need to have someone that is separate from the talent and the booking making the business decisions. And unfortunately, when you mix the two together, it is never a recipe for success. And that's the unfortunate truth of it all. As much as people want to feel like, oh, I can do both. I can be the CEO of the company as well as the booker, as well as a talent. And the thing is, when you start mixing in the business side and the writing side, unfortunately, those things have a really hard time coalescing. And I can't think of any company that has been successful when those things are intertwined.
Well, I think it's interesting to kind of add to the conversation here. On a recent episode of the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer made a statement, with some backstage knowledge, that he says that almost every top star inside of WWE is in some way, shape, or form reached out to AEW about potentially doing business together down the line. When he said the only name that has not reached out is Roman Reigns. I think he's stretching here a little bit, but you got to believe, people talk. You got people out there now working it between the companies and all that. There's got to be a little bit of fire under the smoke.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's not surprising. You got to hedge your bets. You don't know, especially with the way things are going, if things are going to, have the longevity that one would expect, in either particular company, really. But it's a smart move to say, hey, if things work out, maybe you can, make your way over. Now, from AEW standpoint, I don't think it's necessarily a smart move, because again, we talk about how it seems like they're spending a bunch of money on stars when they already have characters and talents that they don't have enough TV time to develop. And so I think it behooves them to concentrate more on the talent they do have versus necessarily trying to go fishing for new talent. That being said, every now and again, it's not a bad idea to have a familiar face come back, but to do it regularly and make it an ongoing expectation. Basically, you're setting the expectations for fans that they're always going to see new faces and always the most exciting. How long can that keep up? Whether from just a talent standpoint, eventually you're going to run out of names, or two, even more importantly, money, because there's only so much money to go around, and how much money are you spending versus bringing in is the question. And that's where, if you're bringing in all these former name stars that are going to want money, more so than some of these other guys on the roster that they're already paying, and probably less than some of these quote unquote name talents would request. It's like, is that really the best business decision? That's where I don't know.
I think, WWE's in shambles backstage. I've heard this from multiple sources, but that shows me how stupid of workers they are. If Meltzer is right, whoever gives a fuck about what he says, but I don't doubt it, because look at how they act. But the 90-dayers are all up. They get their hooks into D'Amore at Impact, and every one of them's fallen flat on their face in their debuts, pretty much, from Heath to fucking Good Brothers. It's just not good. And they can't get over. Then they bring in Cage, Brody Lee, and fucking Murder Hawk, buried them all. They just don't know how to use guys. All right, so here's the whole WWE roster reaching out to Khan because they're miserable. And I see this from a lot of my WWE friends who get there, they get the spot, and then they just become not miserable, but they're almost like catatonic state to everything else and oblivious to it. And now they're going to try and be workers and hit up Khan in a time, the stupidest time they could do that. Because if things are in shambles and people are leaving, and I'm a worker in WWE, I'm going to bite down on the bullet and be like, I'm going to show I'm loyal and that I want the spot, and that you can trust that I'm not going to be backstabbing you, because telegraph, telephone, tele-wrestler is the fastest way to spread information in this fucking shit, And it's just, if everybody's reaching out to Khan, or they got a meeting with him because he's a mark and wants to take these meetings and feel important, then that's all going to get back to WWE in one way or another. There's no way to fade that, because word's going to spread through the fucking cat house, bro. And now you're fucked, because, he wants to fucking leave. Well, we'll either lock him down and starve him out and he won't be on TV, or we'll fucking put him on TV and make him miserable. and make a rib out of them and devalue them, right? So that's what's going on that way with anybody who did that. Instead of fucking being a smart worker and trying to work Vince and even using that to bury guys, to be like, dude, he's fucking over there talking shit and you're giving him a TV push. Why? He wants to jump ship. Oh, he does? I didn't know that. Well, it's not just him. There's 2 or 3 others and not me, dude. I want to fucking show you that I can carry the ball. Like these little secret meetings that could go on, and maybe some are, but I see everybody just marking out. And this goes all the way to the indie. Here we go, Beast. You ready? This goes all the way to the indies, man. A lot of my brothers who I love and worked their ass off and been in the ship for 15 years who still think they're going to get a shot over these 90-day fucking dudes who are established that have a way bigger following. Dudes who are better workers, some of them, than the guys who are already signed. They don't even have 1,200 followers on Twitter. And I'm not trying to fucking bullshit on them, but like, if you can't even build your following locally, but you fucking think you're up here, what is your perception? You know, like they're so out of touch with it, and they're cutting these promos. I can name 3-4 different workers who are cutting promos like they're getting booked next week to fucking be on every indie show, like shine at fucking NEW or AAW or fucking Blitz or 2CW or whatever. They think they're coming back. OVW, like they think they're going to fucking shine. There's no shows. There's nothing running. Why are you cutting promos being like, we're the best, I'm going to challenge everybody, I'll fuck anybody? Well, where? In the Kroger parking lot? Like, what the fuck are you planning on doing? Like, working for no money, for no audience, nowhere, because no one's running? It's such a delusional thing for me to watch fucking that they don't even know how to do business. My point is they don't know how to do business for themselves. They don't know how to pivot in a time of like, how do I get over with my own talk show now while everything's fucked up, instead of like trying to do a phony wrestling challenge that's not going to pay off in any way whatsoever. And these are 10-15 year vets doing this shit. It's not just some kids who want to cut wrestling promos and pretend. I'm just blown the fuck away by that. And that level of no clarity in your thinking as a worker, from the indies to WWE and AEW guys trying to get in, get out, and even Jericho shooting back and forth. Like, it boggles my mind, dude. I do not know how they do not fucking see it at this point in their life. And that goes to my comedy friends too in Chicago and LA. We're just having a visceral reaction. Now they're leaving the city because it's popular. There's going to be so many pop-up improv workshops. If we ever get back to normal, it's cool to move to Wisconsin and Michigan now. That's what we do. We get out of the city, and they'll pat themselves on the back for it after they drove them fucking selves out. And now their life's ruined because they have no place to play. They have no outlet. They have no idea how to monetize or market themselves or do something creative that could catch fire online. Nope. It was all let's do the LA fucking version of this shit. And now they're fucked. They're at age 45 to 50, they're fucked with no prospect of getting over on drunk history or their own Silicon Valley or Veep walk on and shit like that, and ribs on them, bro, because they acted like they were so smart. And this is in wrestling too. They acted like they were so smart. They had no idea how to monetize, get over, or develop character. They thought it was all going to be handed to them if they went through the meat grinder, and ribs on them. And I love them all, but you fucked yourself. I tried to warn you.
I'm not the kind of person to say I told us so. But you know what? I told us so. I told us so.
You goddamn right.
We're talking about some financials here, especially with AEW. Recently, Ryback was speaking about Rey Mysterio rejecting AEW's offer and then in favor of looking to re-sign with WWE. He had made mention that through his sources, Ryback had said that he heard that AEW was able to match per match pay from WWE, but they couldn't match the dates. So ultimately, the WWE deal was more lucrative for Rey. It looks like where he's going there. Obviously, the ties with assuring a future for Dominic is likely very important to Rey. I guess the bigger question, start with you here, Beast, is I mean, how long in AEW before Papacon comes in here and says, hey, we got to cut this off. We don't have any gate coming in. I don't know what their merch sales and all that, but right now, but yeah, the revenue stream is got to be running thin for them. Should that be a concern for talents looking to make that jump over there, or just the company itself?
Well, I mean, if you're thinking long term, then certainly. Now, that being said, right now, we don't know what wrestling is going to look like a year from now. So I'd say anytime you have an opportunity to get some television time, whether it's on AEW or WWE right now, and at least have the opportunity to be seen, whether or not you're enjoying the content that either company's putting out right now, you're still having an opportunity to sell yourself on national television. So I would say any talent that gets an opportunity for either company should take it, because that's still your opportunity to at least put yourself out there and potentially, as Ben said, if things do go to shit, then at least you're putting yourself helping to build a following, and then you got to utilize that to continue afterwards. And that's the difference on whether or not you're going to continue to try to ride that wave afterwards and put in the work to continue your following, or sit by the wayside and wait for someone to give you a call, which unfortunately more often than not does not happen. But I would say certainly, I mean, for long-term purposes, sure. But I think that's something more that really management and, the executives really need to be keeping a close eye on. And that's where I don't know their financials, so I can't necessarily comment on it, but that you're absolutely right. That is something that is of the utmost importance with running any kind of organization or business. And so especially as it relates to wrestling.
100%, man. I just, I don't know how they're all that out of touch. Am I wrong in that beast and that shoot? Like, is that not the perception like that you see as well?
To a degree, I would say. I mean, because it's really about what are you working towards that objectively is going to give you an opportunity, and if you just putting out stuff that is controversial or trying to get a pop isn't necessarily going to do that, but organizing a webinar or doing a podcast or doing whatever, something where you can actually aggregate followers into something, whether it be something free or something or some kind of service that you're providing some kind of value to people, that's what's going to really help to elevate one's game and to really put them over, because they're showing they have value. And so not only are you going to help yourself by putting hopefully more money in your pocket by doing that, by giving value, but when other companies, whether they be wrestling or entertainment or whatever, they see that you're giving people quality value, entertainment, or just something that a collection of people are gravitating towards you for, then that's going to make them see dollar signs in you as well and say, hey, this person clearly has this value. People are paying or gravitating to go see this person. We need to get them on our side to work for us, and I think that's more what wrestlers really need, or really anyone in any kind of entertainment field needs to be gravitating towards, is how they can deliver value to their audience. And I don't think necessarily everyone is doing that.
Absolutely. And build the set, whatever your character is, build it out. What's your TV show for your character that doesn't involve wrestling, because you can't wrestle right now. Instead, everything I've seen is like, who wants to get in the ring with us? Well, where? You just wasted your fucking time. And every worker who sees that, who's not booked, is like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you need to make your show now, so when wrestling restarts or comedy restarts, that you have a built-in audience, so they go, I gotta have that on my show. That's your only chance, because not only are you against it with COVID and crowd size and everyone's gonna be rushing to, as soon as somebody announces the show, they're gonna be rushing for the bookings. Is fucking, you got the 90-dayers who are eating up the main roster spots, and ROH still doesn't have their shit worked out. New Japan's not taking anybody. AEW is only going to take ex-WWE guys as they get rid of their own indie guys, and those indie guys will trickle down back to the indies, and the fucking mark promoters will want to book them before they book you, because they have the AEW stamp on them. Even if you can outwork them 10-1, doesn't fucking matter. They're still going to get booked over you unless you make yourself a property now, and they're doing nothing. Like nothing to do it, and they put each other over as this is the shit. It's going to be awesome. Yeah, where, when? It needs to be awesome right now, and they're all just fucking blind to it, man. It breaks my heart, and I'm not going to say shit to them because I don't have the time to get into arguments and fucking coach dudes who already know better. They know better, and they're not.
Oh, and I'd say to a degree, something you have to come to your own realization on. You know, you can tell someone till you're blue in the face what they need to do to make themselves more valuable or to do better business for themselves, but they're only going to listen if they want to listen, and that really comes down to them getting to the point where they realize, oh shit, I got to do something different. And then that's where, you know, I'm sure, you know, if one of these individuals came to you and said, hey Ben, I haven't been doing this right. What do I need to do? I'm sure at that point you would help, but for you to waste, you know, to extend yourself and reach out and spend your time and energy to reach out to people that, you know, otherwise aren't interested in necessarily taking those steps, then it is a waste of time for everyone, really.
Sure. And but it's going to be another 2-year fail for them. Their window is closing and closing. I see how they use their time, and what they're producing isn't bad. It's just like useless. It's useless propaganda that's not going to yield any results instead of focusing that time and attention. And it's not like I'm bitter by it by any means, but they see that this shit is clicking over here. Why are you not just stealing that model? Instead, they're still stuck in the WWE meat grinder. I need to do these promos. I need to reinvent my character, and then I'll submit it, and then I'll get over on the indies. There are no indies, but then I'm going to they're going to see me, and then they're going to want the hot new property, and then I'll get signed. If you think that's the path after 10, 15 years still, you're done, bro. You're done in this shit.
Let me ask you guys, this is a perfect spinoff. This is something that it's bothered me for a while, and I regularly see it across the board when it involves, you know, indie town of all levels, is when they are shooting these promos themselves. And I'm not expecting over-the-top production and editing and all of that, but just the basic logic in the side of their promos. If you got someone that's supposed to be like, you know, the Prince of Darkness or whatever, but yet they're cutting their promo and they're grilling out, or they're sitting in their living room and you can see family photos. I mean, just the simple things like that, to think about just your location, your setting, how you're going to deliver.
Dude, I cut promos on the fucking base, and the base outside, full fucking Hamin gear on an Air Force military base, standing in fucking front of a C-130, like a decommand missiles, bro. With no fucking permissions, no nothing. Cars ripping by and like fucking slowing down, like what the fuck? Full gimmick. I don't want to hear shit from anybody about location shoots and shit like that. If you can't do that, get the fuck out of my business. And that goes double for fucking WWE when you're trying to do a Matt Hardy fucking thing and you can't even iron your fucking green screen or blue screen when you're doing a fucking Maria Canales fucking gynecologist visit and the wall is made out of a fucking sheet with a photo frame, a picture photo like framed hanging on it, and it's drooping like they wanted us to believe that's a wall. Get the fuck out of my business. Like, you don't belong here. If you're not going to fucking create a reality that's believable, you're going to, you know, do that shit, that Hallmark home backdrop shit, like that doesn't go with the story whatsoever. I can't stand your art. I have no love for you. Go do all the fucking gas you want and post your fucking pics online like you're fucking over it. It just shows the trapped addiction mindset that you're in, of that same mindset, that meat grinder mindset, dude. And people like that are never going to get out of it. Go Beast.
I was going to say, it is, to me, I don't understand, because I'm so OCD and anal about any time I post a video or picture of it, you know, at least back when I was, you know, in character and doing more wrestling type things, of always making sure that the background, you know, fit the gimmick. And to me, it's a simple quality control of looking at what you're putting out and thinking, is this continuing to express the character that I have, or gimmick that I have essentially, you know, put out there for the fans and established. That's the word I was looking for. That the character that I have established, is this going to continue to make people believe that I am that character, or is there something in this video, like seeing a picture of my family in the background, that's going to take people out of it and start to make me, or start to make them not believe in my character anymore. Because as soon as you make people stop believing and they have that little moment of doubt, and they might not even consciously realize it. I tell you, a lot of times these things happen subconsciously and unconsciously. When you see someone drop their character in the middle of a match, or you see something in the background that doesn't match the character that is talking to you on the screen. Sometimes that subconscious thing in the back of your head just makes you go, I'm not really feeling this. I'm not really interested. You don't know why, but all of a sudden you're not emotionally invested anymore. And those small decisions can make all the difference on whether or not someone is emotionally invested and will tune in again, or whether they're just simply not interested in, I'm going to see what else is on TV.
And not this is petty for the phony fake wrestling world, but here's the thing with Sonya Deville. Biggest heat she's had, right? Cutting Mandy's hair, and then this shit happens. It's real life, right? But then she comes back with what statement?
Oh, just thanks for the love and support. And
should we be loving and supporting her right now? Say it's been Hamin on WWE not breaking kayfabe, and somebody tries to fucking do that, and it's an attempt on my life, and I escape. What am I going to come back with?
I think
you morons thought you could get me, but you'll never get me. I'm Ben Hamin.
No, you got it 100% bro.
I was gonna say just the promo that you cut here on the show, just talking about, hey, people like this should be taken out and their balls be hot wired.
You're lucky I don't take you out back to hook you up to the deuce and a half and shock your nuts all night long, moron. The police got there just in time to save your ass, because otherwise I would have cut your throat.
Yeah.
You can't protect your own business. I don't know what that's an opportunity as a heel to not look like a baby face. And instead, she just ruined her. I'm not sure your life's in danger. It's super scary. I'm not trying to fucking say, how dare you not break kayfabe for phony wrestling and in a real life possible hostage situation. I'm just saying, but I'm not saying. You know what I mean? Like, here's the opportunities where we build. My career is based around heat. I have heat for the first time. I'm going to pay it off. Something fucked up happens. I better put out a tweet thanking everybody for all the love and making them go, we love you, Sonya. Now back to the fake wrestling. I hate you, bitch. I'm a closet lesbian who wants to cut. Like, oh, okay, we're fucked. We're fucked. We're dead in the water.
And the thing that I was going to say, the thing that is interesting too is I believe she's been one of the people that has gone on blast to say if she would just get an opportunity to show what she can do, that she would, be just as good, if not better, than Charlotte Flair. Well, part of it isn't just what you do in the ring. Part of it is what you do as a character to either get people to emotionally invest in you as a babyface or to get heat as a heel. And so you got to think, she has this storyline right now, I believe, with Mandy Rose going towards SummerSlam, and so this seems like a great opportunity for her to have some spotlight on her. And I don't. It's not lost on me that perhaps her putting her stuff out there was just an emotional decision. Versus, not saying that it was justified, but I'm saying it likely was, she was worked up in the moment and put it out there. But you're right. It behooves anyone to take an extra second before you hit that tweet or send or post button to think, is this something that, as a character and as the business I'm putting out there on my television screen, is this something that is either going to get me over or get me heat? In her situation, obviously, she wants to post things that are going to get her heat. Is this tweet, regardless of the truthfulness and the realness behind it, is this going to help me get more heat? So that way, when I have my match at SummerSlam and have that big moment, that people are going to go, whoa, she's a star. She knows how to get heat. And this goes along with it. Not saying that she still can't, have a great match and steal the show, but to your point, Ben, that it's something that she could have utilized it to her advantage to get more heat in the angle, and thus at SummerSlam be able to get more of an emotional performance and have people be more emotionally invested in that match.
You want the show don't tell of it, Beast?
What's that?
Hypothetically, me and you are writing for WWE. We're not. Don't go to the sheets with that. We write for Impact with Russo. But
right.
Well, we're writing for WWE. We come up with the hair versus hair thing. Okay, it's starting to get a little heat, right? And then we're pumped about it, whatever. This goes down. We're worried about Sonya. We've been working with her. We check in, whatever's going on. We're like, okay. Then we're driving down the fucking road, and you're driving probably, and I fucking bring it up on Twitter. I look, fucking show it to you. I'd like to thank everybody, and you just look at me. I look down at the phone. I look back at you, and just go. You just keep driving, knowing that they just undid. It doesn't even need to be said again to real workers and real fucking producers.
Now, what I would now you're right. I think the way we laid it out with her, taking the heel initiative, would have been the go-to move. But since she already put it out there, my next thought was, okay, then let's run with that and have her play up the sympathy card for maybe a week or so. And of course, even Mandy, who she's been having this intense feud with, can feel for Sonya because of what happened and draw her into a false sense of, okay, I do feel sorry for her now, only for to have Sonya use the emotion of the situation to turn up the heat and have basically put Mandy in a situation where she's blindsided by Sonya Deville, potentially. Not saying that that's the plan, but at the same time, to me, that would be my B plan, is say, okay, well, then let's at least since she is going to go after the sympathy like we don't want her to, then let's at least play it up to maybe lure Mandy into an attack or something like that. That would be maybe how I would try to rectify it.
You think they're smart enough to figure that out?
No, what they're going to do, they'll be pumped off it, and they'll have as a rib, Mandy's going to try and kidnap Sonya, or Sonya's going to try and kidnap Mandy Rose this week. That's what's like. That's as I'll go with it.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys saw the gentleman's mug shot, but he's almost a dead ringer, just a taller version of Hornswoggle.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like, just what a piece of trash. Like, light him up like a fucking Christmas tree. I don't give a fuck.
Well, gentlemen, that's it for the headlines.
Oof. All right, good. I mean, how many kidnappings can we get through in a week? That popped me too. Like, put out the evergreen tweet. Tony Khan, wrestlers can't kidnap other wrestlers or whatever it was, right? Well, we tried to, and he's right. She couldn't be kidnapped. But you never know when the hostage taker is going to sit up and roll his eyes back in his head and take another hostage for ransom. A king's ransom, yeah. Give me the goddamn hostage taker. We need him, yeah.
And there we go.
Can't wait to see that on TV.
You thought the Undertaker was done. He's coming back as that, you guys. But yeah, at the top of the show, appreciate it again. Anybody who can help out Jargo. With that, the GoFundMe's are on all the Hamin media pages after just an insane loss. As we talk phony wrestling, let's talk some real talk and how to help out a brother that way. Following us on Hamin Media Group, that's what we're pushing for, to get over 1,000. You guys can do good biz that way. We'd appreciate it. On YouTube, easy way to find us. I've also got all the stuff on Ben Hamin channel as well, so you can follow me there. Numbers keep going up steadily, but let's bomb atomically on this shit and keep things trucking right along. And also do it for yourself, the 5-star star search. We're looking for new talent. Appreciate everybody who sent stuff so far. Make it your best. Reach down into your nerddom and talk about what you know to be as a true pro. Also want to say shout out to Colin Wysong for setting up the HMG Discord. People are really enjoying that in there, the subreddit, and posting in there and having their own, ultra kayfabe spot to do it. So if you're one of the cool kids and you're on that Discord server, get hooked up with them, man. We got it. We go live here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman and Hamin Media Group on Twitch. You can go there, and those shows are getting broadcast. So if you have Discord up in the background all day long, it's going down like that. So thanks to Colin for setting that stuff up, man. Appreciate that. And we're looking for subredditors in there and street team people. So if that's your shit, definitely reach out to @Colin Wysong, @The Real RBV. They're the ones spearheading that street team underground movement as we try and just get more shows and expansion out there. I appreciate you guys for being the captains on that new project. Well, we go into new and uncharted territories, man. It's exciting stuff all the way around. Beast, what do you got going on today, bro?
Well, besides making old ladies do some squats, I promise I am still working on it. I feel like I owe everyone an apology, especially you, K-Bob, who's been I've been talking with back and forth. I actually got to send him an email back. But I am still working on the drinking show. As a matter of fact, we're actually reaching out to a couple potential affiliates in regards to doing something with them for that. I'm still working on producing the the show that my wife and I did, and I really do hope to have it in by next week. Don't quote me on it, but I'm going to try to have it at least up within the next week, and I'm excited to go down that path. So I'm planning on doing some production on that today as well, and of course later this week also having some fun with you guys on the Impact Attack as well as the Next Level Wrestling review.
Killing it here for Hamin Media Group. I can't thank you enough for all the hours you guys are putting in, graphic design wise, production wise, and hosting wise. It's humbling just every day to wake up and be like, wow, these guys are fucking beasts set in motion, man beasts, if you will, that can't be controlled. But people are popping huge for the chocolate tie today. It looks great on you, man. That's a great look. I love it.
I might have to find a way. By the way, I'm excited too. I have been talking with Pro Wrestling Tees, and I'm hopeful by next week I'll have a site up with them. And I may have to look into seeing if we can work out how to maybe get some bow ties up on there. That way we can have the bow tie army.
I like that. We'll have our own little door-to-door Mormons that can go up and
there you go.
And, hey, are you subscribed to hackerhamin.podbean.com? Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah, we'd love to talk to you about Ben Hamin.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that for sure, man. More wives and polygamy all day long. RBV, man, what's going down today? Big doings at Herd Media. Are we racing? We reviewing food? What's going on, brother?
Well, this week it's all about those burgers, baby. We're it's Burger Week here in Cincinnati. As I said at the top of the show, I got a number of stops I'm hitting throughout the week. So everybody, if you want to see some good eats, just keep up with me across all social media at The Real RBV. I'll have photos, videos going up. So all sorts of flavorful threads coming your way.
Here comes a brand new flavor in here, you guys. It's RBV doing everything. You guys know it from the Nathan's hot dog eating competition, keeping it real on the streets at Skyline Chili, Ohio style, guys. So if you like all that foodie stuff, definitely follow him. He's a big supporter of ZordosOliveOil.com and theBroasters.com, where you can get the official Russo brand coffee. That's always giving us a little extra. And obviously Zordos Olive Oil is an offshoot of Dippin' Donuts. Triple D, a huge supporter of Hamin Media. So when you're buying that stuff, you're just buying local artisan stuff that directly supports this platform. So, put it together if you want to. If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. Those likes, those shares, those charts, that's what keeps us going, you guys. When you shit your pants at some of the stuff we got going on, it's just unbelievable every single day. So make the most of this week, infidels. The Monday Locker Room keeps you charged up as we head through another week of madness here at Hamin Media Group, hackerhamin.podbean.com, haminmediagroup.podbean.com. It's your Monday Locker Room. Dr. Gimmick Face, the real RBV. And that's right, I'm back. It's the hostage taker. Yalla! Yeah.